Shōgun, the first Japanese language series to win a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Drama Series, and setting a new record as the most awarded single season of television in Emmy history. Based on the fantastical world of James Clavell's novel of the same name, Shōgun attests to both the value of adaptations staying true to their source material and the power of popular media as a vessel for conveying history. But just how accurate is the show and its source material when held up against the big book that is history? Let's dive in. The year is 1600. Portuguese Catholics and European Protestants are trapped in a bitter feud for control of world trade, religion, and influence. Japan is on the verge of chaos with the recent death of the powerful Taiko, leaving the rule split among 5 equal regents, who protect the Taiko's young heir. We open with the Dutch trading ship Erasmus and its starving crew making landfall in Ajiro on the Izu Peninsula. The survivors, including one English pilot, John Blackthorne, are taken prisoner by the local samurai. Blackthorne's arrival stirs up tensions with the Portuguese traders and the Catholic Jesuit priests, one of whom accuses Blackthorne of being a pirate and calls for his execution. However, the fief's ruler, Kashigi Yabushige, sees potential in Blackthorne and the Erasmus, and plans to use the ship's cargo of weapons for his own benefit. At Osaka Castle, 4 of the 5 regents, led by Lord Ishido Kazunari, plot to impeach and ultimately execute the 5th regent, Toranaga Yoshii, who they accuse of consolidating power. Meanwhile, Toranaga's loyal general, Toda Hiromatsu, acts on a spy's report and seizes the Erasmus and its valuable cargo. He orders Blackthorne to be brought to Osaka, but as they make their way back, a violent storm causes Blackthorne to assume command of the ship after the Spanish navigator Rodriguez is lost in the storm. Blackthorne manipulates Yabushige into helping rescue Rodriguez, and the two are saved by samurai. Once the storm subsides, Blackthorne is brought to Osaka Castle, where he comes face to face with the powerful Toranaga and his translator Lady Toda Mariko, ending the episode. So, how historically accurate is this first episode? The series is set in 1600 and follows 3 characters: John Blackthorne, an English sailor who ends up shipwrecked in Japan, Lord Toranaga, a shrewd, powerful daimyo at odds with his own dangerous political rivals, and Lady Mariko, a woman with invaluable skills but dishonorable family ties. John Blackthorne is based off of the real-life English navigator, William Adams, whose story matches closely to what our little fictional spin-off version's journey encounters. However, it is not without its historical inaccuracies. But let's begin with what Shogun gets right. Adams was an English navigator who in the year 1600 was the first Englishman to reach Japan. His described journey of traveling through the Strait of Magellan to reach Japan was recounted in Emmanuel van Metteren's 1599 memoir, a contemporary historian of Adams's time, as well as in a letter from Adams to his wife. Adams's ship was captured upon landing, and local Jesuit priests claimed it was a pirate vessel, reported by Adams in another letter to his wife. Adams was then summoned to Osaka to meet with Tokugawa Ieyasu, the warlord Toranaga Yoshii is based on. In terms of the political atmosphere, Shogun is generally accurate. Prior to the death of the Taiko, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, he established the Council of 5 Elders to rule until his 5-year-old son, Toyotomi Hideyori, would be ready to rule. The council was made up of 5 daimyos: Tokugawa Ieyasu, Ukita Hideye, Maeda Toshie, Uesugi Kagekatsu, and Mori Terumoto. Friction arose as the Tokugawa hegemony began to form due to his marriage alliances, and the council called for his resignation. Now, on to the inaccuracies. Adams's ship was not the Erasmus, but rather the Liefde, one of the ships of the Van der Hagen fleet. It was, however, originally named the Erasmus, and in fact, Adams's brother Thomas was assigned to the sub-flagship. The Liefde was indeed the ship that was last remaining when Adams made landfall in Japan, but the coastal town they landed in was believed to be Sashiu on Usuki Bay. Usuki was a small fief in the Bungo region on eastern Kyushu, now Oita Prefecture. The remaining crew's stay in Sashiu was actually quite hospitable until the Jesuits began to slander them as pirates. And rather than only Adams being summoned to Osaka, he was accompanied by another crewmate, Jan Yolsten. As for Toranaga's introduction, the only thing I couldn't find any evidence for was why he would be put to death following his resignation. Historically, resignations were commonplace in the Azuchi Momoyama period, such as in 1579 when Oda Nobunaga resigned from his post as Udaijin, or Minister of the Right. Perhaps the show meant to imply that through his resignation, Toranaga would be at the mercy of his enemy's armies. Lady Toda Mariko is loosely based on Akachitama, better known as Hosokawa Garasha, who is a Catholic convert and the last notable survivor of the Akachi clan. Garasha never met Adams during her lifetime. Cultural clash and adaptation. Blackthorne's arrival in Japan is a catalyst for the cultural clash theme. As a foreigner, he is thrown into a world that is deeply entrenched in its own traditions, and his survival depends on how well he can adapt. The clash isn't just between East and West, but also between different societal values. Blackthorn's initial struggles to communicate and understand the customs of the Japanese, along with the way his own worldview is challenged, highlight the core of cultural adaptation. Power and hierarchy. The political structure in Japan underpins much of the show, and the first episode sets the stage for the power struggles that will unfold. The contrast between the English naval captain, a man of significant authority in his world, and the Japanese samurai who follow a rigid hierarchical system based on loyalty and service is jarring. We see how this power dynamic plays out, not only in the terms of Blackthorn's initial subjugation to the daimyos, but also through the broader political backdrop. The rivalry between the powerful lords like Toranaga and Ishido is introduced here, setting the stage for the political intrigue that defines the rest of the series. Religion and spirituality. The religious theme is explored on multiple levels. The episode presents tensions between the Portuguese Catholics, who have arrived in Japan and are trying to spread Christianity, and the Protestant Blackthorn, who becomes caught up in ongoing religious strife. Animosity between these two European factions creates a religious undertone that adds to the complexity of the cultural interaction. Additionally, Mariko's internal spiritual journey adds another layer to this theme. Her faith and her relationship with religion play an important role in her character development, showing the personal and societal tension between different belief systems. Honor and loyalty. Though formalized in the Edo period, Bushido, the samurai code of honor, is a central cultural element introduced in the episode. One of Toranaga's men, Usami Hideyoshi, is forced to perform seppuku after insulting Ishido on himself and on his infant son. Yabushige prepares to perform seppuku on himself after nearly drowning. But most interestingly enough, loyalty is a key theme in this episode and across the rest of the series. The conflict between Yabushige's self-serving loyalty and the unwavering loyalty to Toranaga, seen through characters like Mariko and Hiromatsu, sets up one of the most interesting tensions of the show. The contrast between these types of loyalty, one focused on survival and self-interest, the other on absolute devotion, not only informs the characters' motivations, but also reflects the complexities of this period of Japan's history. Shogun's Anjin is an excellent pilot episode for an excellent series, and it's clear to me why it made such a sweep at the 2024 Emmys. Not only does it capture the grand scale of the historical events it depicts, but it also sets the stage for themes of loyalty, identity, and survival interwoven into the fabric of the story. Though it takes its liberties with historical accuracy, Shogun is still able to deliver an emotionally compelling narrative that stays true to the essence of the cultural clash between East and West. This nuanced approach to history allows the series to strike a balance between historical fact and artistic interpretation, an essential characteristic for adaptations to succeed. In an era where popular media plays a crucial role in conveying historical knowledge and cultural understanding, Shogun stands out as a brilliant example of how adaptation can bring history to life, transforming it from something we study into something we can live through on screen.